Hello and welcome to Iyagovos Introspectives. Today we're going to be talking about the recent Steam refunds, not quite debacle, but event that's happened and how it's affecting certain indie developers and why it's both good and bad for consumers. So first off, what is the Steam refunds policy? When you buy a game on Steam previously, it was very difficult for someone to get a refund. You would have to contact Steam support directly and they would go through the motions of getting you a refund eventually if you needed it and if you kept pushing for it. Now, you can get any refund on any game that you've played, that you bought on Steam. So you can't buy a game off Steam from a third-party site like Green Man Gaming and redeem a code onto Steam. You can't refund those. But any game you buy directly off of Steam, you can now get a refund for within 14 days of purchase, provided you've only played it for no more than 2 hours. So that's great for a buyer like myself. I recently bought Magicka 2. I decided I didn't really like it that much, and I refunded it for a full price. I think that's a very fair thing, and I'm happy that that system is in. However, that means that now indie developers are able to sell their games perfectly fine. But some indie developers make short games. They make games that are small. One example is Quibu, the developer behind Beyond Gravity, which is a small indie game on Steam. And that game is a very small source main story. It can be finished in an hour, and you can buy it for £1.59. Recently, the Quibu developers said that out of 18 sales, 13 have been refunded in 3 days. That's 72% of purchases, with a much bigger difference between the rate of refunds before that. That's a lot of purchases being reversed, 72 purchases, and the fact that the game is only an hour long maybe proves that people are abusing that. Puppy Games, a developer of Revenge of the Titans, has seen a huge spike in players asking for money since the policy went live as well. 55% refund rate on Revenge of the Titans versus 5 refunds in 10 years. I don't know how I feel about that statistic. I feel like the uptick in refunds might, and I don't want to say this definitively because I obviously don't know what's going on, but an uptick in refunds since the refund mechanism came around maybe means, on a game like Revenge of the Titans, I'm not sure how long that is, but on a game, the introduction of refund system means that people are more willing to take advantage of it now. And he's able to, or you're able to now make decisions. If you don't like a game, you're not stuck with it, you're able to send it back. Before then, and we've seen this with things like digital purchasing, before digital purchasing was around, people were more likely to pirate because of convenience. If something's not convenient, you won't do it. And that's what's happened, in my opinion, what's happened with some games with this refund system. Puppy Games also tweeted a graph which shows the difference between a refund policy, and there's a big difference there. I mean, the refunds definitely, or the sales definitely go down on the refunds once after the refunds have come out. Coming forward to a similar story is Matt Gamble from Skatanic Studios, which is the solo developer of RPG Tycoon. For the whole of May, RPG Tycoon was refunded once, but in the first week of June, 20 of those games claimed a refund. Matt Gamble, Skatanic, I'm going to keep... I'll call him Matt. Let's call him Matt Gamble. He likes the refund policy. I think that's good. But one of these issues is that... Well, his big issue with the system is that one user has bought the game 7 times and refunded 5 of them. Why? There's no way there's no required way for the consumer to give a reason for the refund. If I buy 10 copies, if I buy Magicka 2 again 9 times and refund it every single time, there's nothing stopping me from. There's no reason for me to tell developers why I'm doing that. There's nothing required making me do that. Meaning that every time I refund a game, it doesn't help the developers at all. Even if I'm having technical issues, I feel like one of the big issues with this would be that you need to see technical issues. And if I'm returning the game because of technical issues, I should send off a system spec sheet. I feel like those should be enforceable things to help make the developers better. If it's a technical issue, maybe the developer could have helped you. I mean, you're always obviously entitled to using your money how you want, but there's always that little bit of concern from an indie developer. He's working by himself. He needs to know how to maximize his money, and people returning things without saying why doesn't help him at all. Gamble says that he's worried that this will push indies into using DRM. He says that now I kind of want to add DRM to the game so you can't play it because you've actually revoked your rights to it. But doing that is against everything I believe in, and it's totally unfair for those to have paid for it and have paid for it to be DRM free. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that's wrong. Adding DRM to the game means that you can't play it because you've actually revoked your rights to it. Steam, I mean, that doesn't make sense because when you refund a game on Steam, it leaves your Steam library. That's right. Adding DRM to a game is just going to be frustrating. It's not going to help me make a game. It's not going to help me play a game on Steam. Although I guess you could buy a game on Steam and then refund it. And then, if it's DRM free without using Steamworks, it can still be used. It can still be played. Cliff Harris from Positech Games, he's not doing too well either with this. He recently tweeted out saying that bloody hell, the Steam refund rate has gone from 0.09% to 17%. I think people are taking the piss. Here comes DRM again. Again, I don't know if people are taking the piss or if now that people have to deal with, or now that people can deal with a refund system that works, whether they're just taking advantage of that now instead of leaving games they didn't like in their system. I think that, if there's anything that I can agree with listeners on, it's that DRM's bad and we don't want it. The refund policy is definitely good for people like myself and the viewer here, you, who's listening to me talking now. But there should definitely be more of a system. I think a majority of these things is from people saying, hey, I just want to try that game out, and if I don't like it, I can return it. There needs to be a system for demos. Demos need to come back majorly to stop this. And games like Gone Home, which can be finished in 5 minutes, should be made to pay less. They should not be costing £15, in my opinion. But also, they should have systems of checking how much completion you've done in the game. If I played Gone Home for 2 hours, and not gotten the completion achievement, that should be just as well as. That should be just as well as if someone plays Gone Home and finishes it in 5 minutes accidentally. If I'm playing the game and I accidentally figure out how to solve it, why should that mean that I'm not able to return it? Or maybe I didn't like the fact that there's an exploration game and I chose an option that finished the game for me, and I was like, oh hey, that was dumb. I feel like the same policies that work with books should work with Steam games, but then you're also getting into the issue with when you return a book, it goes forever. If you return a video game, you could still have the files on your computer. So again, I'm arguing for DRM, which I don't want. It's definitely an interesting case, and with developers, indie developers especially, it'll make them lose money. It needs to be a system for them to manage how much completion someone's done in the game. Right, that's as much as I wanted to say on that, really. There's not a whole lot. I just wanted to melt down and distill the situation for you guys to be able to listen, to be able to understand what the issues people are having with it. And I'll probably do a more in-depth piece about it later on. Alright, thank you very much for listening. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.